seeing the dirt floor of that primitive house early in my academic training. I never would have guessed that I'd be in such a situation. My friends and I had traveled hundreds of miles, not to see a potentate or an intellectual, but a baby. And at the end of our journey, my face was almost on the ground. I saw nothing but dirt. Who were we? Some people called us wise men. Actually, we were Babylonians, part of a caste of men who were appointed to the court in Babylon, dedicated our lives to the study of the sciences, especially astronomy. Our knowledge was a kind of alchemy of science and superstition.
Jewish people had encountered our kind before. Joseph met wise men in Egypt, as did the great leader Moses. One of the great heroines, Esther, had contact with them in the Persian Empire. Even the great Jewish prophets like Jeremiah and Ezekiel spoke of the wise men. We were not unique in the history of Israel, but we were different than all of those other wise men. We were searching for the Jewish Messiah.
The story of how we got to that house in Bethlehem and our faces before the young child was filled with adventure, danger, and excitement. We were not kids as many have thought. We came to Judea in search of the king. He had come for one reason, and only one reason, to worship.
How did we learn about him? We knew that the Jewish nation expected a Messiah who would bring peace and freedom, joy and comfort, and salvation to all mankind. Though we were of Babylonian blood, we were eager to meet someone like that promised Messiah, and we fell on our faces before him. When we saw him in the presence of such deity and glory, any intelligent person would do the same.
How did you know we should search for him? As we were watching the heavens, we saw a special star rising in the east. It had to be an indication from the God of heaven that he was about to fulfill his promise, so we set out on our long journey westward.
Once he grew Jerusalem, he began to ask where the one who was born king of the Jews came. He was surprised when no one seemed to know. We had come from hundreds of miles to see the child cake, but they didn't even know there was a child cake. Had he come for no reason at all?
Our first big break came when the ruler, a man named Herod, called us to his palace. We thought it was strange that he summoned us at night. It appeared that he didn't want anyone to know we were even there. Herod seemed very interested in this child. He told us to look in Bethlehem and commanded us to go there, find the child, and return to him so that he too could worship him. While Herod appeared very sincere in his desire to worship the Anointed One, we found out later that he was a deceiver. He wanted to kill the child.
The star hung low in the heavens, and it led us right to the Bethlehem house where Mary, Joseph, and the young boy were living. We knocked at the door, and Mary answered. Again, we posed the question we had asked so frequently in Jerusalem. Where is he who has been born king of the Jews? After questioning our intentions, Mary and Joseph graciously invited us into their cramped quarters, probably part of a relative's house, as they were not permanent residents of Bethlehem.
When we saw the child, we fell to the floor on our faces. The star had led us to the house, but more importantly, to the one whom we would later understand was not just the Jewish Messiah, but the incarnate God, the Savior of the world.
We sang and praised him, and we gave our gifts to him. I brought gold because it was the most precious material in our world and represented royalty. My friend gave him frankincense. To us, it represented service to God and was given as an act of worship. Another friend brought myrrh. This was used as an anointing oil, and it's a pleasant, embalming perfume.
We presented ourselves in adoration to Jesus as we gave these gifts. We understood him to be much more than a baby born in humble circumstances in Bethlehem. We learn that he was God in the flesh, God with us.
We three kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse afar, field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star.
Herod was the voice of deception. He had no intention of worshiping a pretender to his throne. He wanted only to kill him. In the great carol of Christmas, he was the singer in the minor key, clashing with the pure melody sung by the other singers. He will always be remembered as the voice no one wanted to hear.
Had you entered my presence, you would have bowed. I was known as Herod the Great, King of the Jews. I was the most powerful man in my part of the world, and I knew everything that went on in my region. I was in complete control. People said bad things about me. It's true that I was ruthless. Had you But I was a cunning negotiator and a superb diplomat. I subdued the opposition and maintained order among the Jewish people for nearly 33 years. The emperor and all the powerful people in Rome were pleased with my reign. Everything I did was necessary. I was the best thing that ever happened to those Jews. They criticized me because I killed all my brothers and half-brothers who could have challenged my reign. I even murdered my wife, Mariamne. It was a shame, too. She was my favorite. I had 10 marriages and fathered 15 children. None of them pleased me. Those ungrateful Jews would say, "It's better to be Herod's hog than his son." Why did people keep dwelling on these negative things? I did so much for those people, and all they remembered was the bloodshed. They talked about my deception and ruthlessness. They said I was cruel and cold-blooded and brutal. I really didn't want to deceive those travelers from the east, but it angered me when they asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews?" What did they mean by that? I was King of the Jews. As long as I lived, only I would be the King of the Jews. And it had taken years of struggle to get where I was, and I wasn't going to give it all up to some baby. My first thought was to get more information from the Jews and asked if there was any truth to a prophecy that a Messiah would be born. They said there was, and that their prophet Micah had identified the village of Bethlehem in Judah as his birthplace. This was hitting too close to home. I quickly had my aides set up a clandestine meeting with the Babylonians. Everyone called them wise men. I was going to see just how wise they were. I would ask them when they had seen his star rise. That would tell me how long ago this baby had been born. Then I would order them to go to Bethlehem and find the young child and return to tell me where to find him so that I could worship him. I wouldn't tell them what my real intention was. I had no intention of worshiping this pretender to my throne. I wanted only to kill him. If members of my own family became expendable because they stood in my way, did the Jews think for 1 second that I wouldn't take the life of a little Jewish baby? I met with the wise men and my plan worked perfectly. I commanded them to find the child in Bethlehem and tell me where he was. When they returned, I would simply send a contingent of soldiers to kill the baby. That would be the end of that. I waited for them. Had they found the baby? Was he really the Messiah? Why weren't they back? Eventually, I realized that they weren't coming. I had deceived them. Now they had deceived me and returned to Babylon without my knowledge. I would have to take matters into my own hands. I sent soldiers to Bethlehem to put to death every male child 2 years and younger. I knew they were innocent children, but what did I care? I was merely protecting my throne. In Jerusalem, whisperers called this slaughter of the innocents, the most diabolical move of my regency. They didn't understand. I couldn't let a baby be a threat to me. It was hard enough keeping the Jews in line. If they had thought they had a champion, if they had thought their long-awaited Messiah had come, there would have been even more bloodshed.
Like a prelude to a symphony, John's voice rose from the desert, saying, "Messiah is coming. Prepare for him." Later, his call to repentance softened and faded into the background as the one who was born in Bethlehem as the Savior of the world began his public ministry.
As far back as I can remember, I knew I was different. As I grew up, the differences between me and people around me became more noticeable. I asked my father why. He was very godly, and I thought he could help me through those difficult times. In answer, he told me it's time for birth. My birth was a miracle, he said. He and my mother prayed for a son for many years, but they were childless. Finally, they gave him a coat, so they were too old to have a baby. Then one day, my father was serving